What's up, everybody? I've come here today to give an update about my PCT through hike, and I'm just gonna say I'm really sad to say that I'm not gonna be hiking the PCT this year. Nah, I'm just f***ing with you. I'm definitely still hiking the PCT, and by the time you watch this, there's a chance that I might even be out there already. However, I wanted to come on here and just make like a final thoughts before I leave for my PCT through hike attempt video. I don't really have much of a plan for this. I'm just gonna stand here and I'm gonna spill my guts about how I'm feeling, you know, just a few days away from my PCT through hike attempt. And in my last video, I said that I was a few days away, and after that, I started to get messages from people being like, are you out there yet? Like, why haven't you left yet? Like, what's going on? And maybe I like misspoke a little bit, because at that time, it felt like I was only a few days away. I mean, I was really only like a week away, but now I'm actually like literally just a few days away, a few hours even, depending on how you look at it. I was gonna make a video about something that had absolutely nothing to do with the PCT, but thank you to my Patreon supporters. They kind of encouraged me to instead make this video, which again, I don't really know what this is, but anyways, let's just talk about how I'm feeling just a few days / hours out from actually hitting the trail. It's kind of hard for me to not compare this to how I was feeling before the Appalachian Trail. And the truth is, it's way, way, way different this time. Before I hiked the Appalachian Trail, I was in college, and I graduated college, and 2 days later, after walking on that stage, I was on top of Springer Mountain and I was starting my hike. And so honestly, being in that circumstance, I didn't like really think about my upcoming through hike that much. Of course I did, you know, I planned, I was training and stuff like that, but I was just so focused on graduating college and kind of tying up all those loose ends that I didn't really think about it that much until literally 2 days before I actually started the hike. And this time around, it's much different. I've been thinking about this PCT hike for, I mean, basically the last year, but like really seriously thinking about it like every day, all day, basically for the past 2 months. And there's just so much like life circumstance stuff that's different this time around, because like I said, before the AT, I graduated college. So regardless of whether or not I was through hiking the AT, I would have been leaving all my friends behind. I would have been leaving that town behind. I also had a job that was lined up for myself after I got done my through hike. So I knew that was 100%. I knew I had that secured. And it's just so much different this time around. First of all, a question I've been getting a lot, and I haven't really addressed too much, honestly, is what are you doing about your job? Because I'm not a full-time YouTuber. Well, I guess I kind of am now, hinting at what I'm about to say, but like up until just a couple weeks ago, I was working a day job. I've had a day job throughout the entire history of this channel, and I quit it to do this hike. So that's like very, very different compared to what it was like on the AT. I also am leaving my friends and my home behind, possibly for good. At least not the friends, obviously, like, but the home. I'm not in Vermont anymore. I'm currently in I don't know, what would you call this? Indiana? It's not Indiana, but you know, I'm not in Vermont anymore, and I don't really know if I'm going back. And as exciting as it is to like have all this like stuff coming up, like it's a little bit nerve-wracking. You kind of second guess yourself a little bit, like leaving behind your hometown, leaving behind all your good friends that you've had for so many years, certainly leaving behind your job and your stable source of income. It's just very different. There's more on the line this time for sure. And I haven't even talked about the content yet. I didn't have a YouTube channel back when I hiked the Appalachian Trail. Nobody cared who I was. I mean, no one really cares who I am still, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I have an audience, even if it's small compared to some people. I have people that care. Many of you watching this video right now, I'm assuming, probably care a little bit, and I really appreciate all of you for caring. And so thinking about like how I'm gonna make content out there and how there's gonna be people, probably thousands of people watching the hike, it's like, man, that adds a whole new element. I don't wanna say I'm like nervous for that, because like genuinely, like I'm really excited to make the content. I'm really excited to share this hike, but it just adds a whole another element of it. So I feel like the circumstances leading up to my PCT through hike attempt versus the circumstances leading up to the AT, like they're just totally, totally different. And if I sound a little bit nervous right now, you know, I kind of am. Mostly because there's a jet above me and I really wish it would f off. But no, I'm definitely a little bit nervous, but it's a different kind of nervous than I was before the AT, because like I said, before the AT, I like was not nervous until 2 days before the hike. Then all of a sudden it all hit me at once, and I was just like really, really nervous for like 2 days and a good portion of the first day of my hike as well. And I'm not out in California yet, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel when I first start. I don't know how I'm gonna feel like the day before I start and all this stuff, but I think it's probably gonna be different. I feel like I've kind of gotten a lot of the nerves out over the past month or so, and I'm hoping that when we actually start, it won't be like quite as like a freaking truck of nerves hitting me all at once like it was before my AT hike. But who knows? We'll see. I'll talk about it in the video while we're starting, I'm sure. I will say one thing that has been making me very nervous over the past month that I haven't really talked about on the channel at all is I kind of like injured my foot a little bit when I was training. This happened at the beginning of April, and it wasn't like that bad. Like I wasn't like limping around, like it wasn't like excruciatingly painful like it was on my Cranberry 50 hike last year. That sucked. It was just like a very mild thing, but it just made me really nervous because I was like, shit, like I'm about to go do this hike and like I'm already like kind of injured. And so I rested. I was still doing like weight training and legs and stuff in the gym, but I didn't really hike as much as not even close to as much as I was kind of hoping to before. And again, it wasn't really that bad of an injury, but it just never really healed. Like I felt like it wasn't getting worse, but it just wasn't getting better. And so the past month, I've been really, really nervous about that. However, I'm very happy to say that this past weekend, I went out with Luke, who's gonna be editing the videos, Experience Over Things. Hopefully you guys are familiar with him at this point. If not, you should go subscribe to his channel, link in the description. We went out and we hiked the Art Loeb Trail in North Carolina, which is 30 miles. And this was basically the first backpacking I've done since last year. And I was really nervous like the first day about my foot. And I'm very happy to say that it actually went pretty well. Of course, I can still feel something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it didn't get worse over the course of the hike. I wasn't hiking in excruciating pain. And what I was most nervous for was I thought I was gonna wake up on the morning of the second day after hiking on it the full day, you know, the day before. There's a lot of days, you know what I'm saying though? And I was afraid that I was just gonna wake up and it was just gonna be like way worse than it was before, and I was gonna be like, how the hell am I gonna go hike 2,000 miles in California? I guess, and other states too. But I'm happy to say that, you know, when I woke up in the morning, it wasn't that bad. I felt okay. Like I said, there's still something going on, and Flossie and I are gonna start nice and slow at the beginning of the PCT to just kind of ease ourselves into it. But my foot held up much, much better, and is actually feeling better now that I've been back than it was before I left. And so I don't know, maybe part of it, I'm sure a lot of it was in my head, to be honest, because I was just thinking about it constantly the past month. It sucked, but I'm definitely feeling more confident now, just having gotten 30 miles under my belt, knowing that my foot didn't get any worse. I also got new shoes too. And guys, I try to keep it real on here. A few months ago, I made a video, this was probably like over the winter at some point, I made a video talking about how much I loved my Ultra Lone Peak 5s and how great they were. And then, you know, when I did my PCT gear video, I also talked about how I was gonna be wearing those shoes. But after my foot injury, I was kind of just like desperately trying to find like solutions and figure out like how I can like solve it and not have it happen in the future. And so I actually ended up buying new shoes. I switched to the Ultra Olympus 4s, which are pretty similar to the Lone Peaks, except they just have more cushion. They're still zero drop, but they just have a lot more cushion than the Lone Peaks do. And so far, I've been loving those shoes. So I'm gonna be hiking in those on the PCT. So I was 100% being genuine when I talked about how much I liked the Lone Peak 5s, but then something happened that kind of changed my perspective a little bit. So I'm coming clean. That sounds like it's that big a deal. It's not a big deal, but I'm telling you that now. This all relates to my foot and how nervous I was about that. And I still am a little bit nervous about it, like, you know, but I'm feeling definitely more confident than I was before, which probably doesn't even mean that much to you because I never talked about my foot thing on the channel. What else is there to say? Pre-PCT thoughts. I guess the last thing I should say is just, I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to do this, even if I end up, God forbid, having to drop out on day 2 or day 1 or day 3 or day 20, whatever it is. I really don't want that to happen, but even if that does happen, I'm just so thankful that I have this opportunity. I'm thankful for all of you guys, because honestly, like, you know, of course I've had ambitions to do another thru hike after the AT, but like, I think it was an easier decision to make, an easier, oh my God, shut up, Jets. I'm trying to be serious here, come on. The sound of freedom is ruining my video, man. I'm just gonna go for it. I don't know if I would have been pushed over the edge to do another thru hike this easily if it wasn't for the channel and it wasn't for everybody supporting. If it wasn't for the Patreon supporters, certainly the people who are actually like putting a little bit of money behind this content. So if you want to support on Patreon, by the way, patreon.com/KyleHatesHiking. And I want to be clear, when I talk about the Patreon, you're supporting the content. You're not just supporting my hike, because I don't like it when people, I mean, they can do whatever they want, but it kind of irks me when people are like, oh, just like Venmo me for my hike, and then they're not really producing any content. Like you're helping the content. You're supporting the content on Patreon. If the videos stop, if this channel ceases to exist, I'm not asking for any money, obviously. Man, I'm just going way off track, but I'm very grateful for all of you. And I genuinely don't know if I would be through hiking the PCT like in just a few days if it wasn't for everybody on Patreon, and certainly just everybody who watches, even if you're not on Patreon. It's no obligation. I'm so thankful for everyone who watches, everyone who's subscribed, which you should do, please. Everyone who hits like, everyone who comments. You know, I don't want to be too cheesy here, but I don't think it's I don't think that it's out of the, what am I trying to say? I don't think that it is cheesy, but it's changed my life. I probably wouldn't be doing this hike if it wasn't for all the content, at least not right now. Maybe I would have someday for sure, but there's gonna be one more video after this before the PCT videos start, because, you know, even though I'm starting soon, like I have to film while I'm out there, and then it has to get to the editor and he's got to edit it. So like obviously there's going to be a delay there. Next week going to be a video of Luke and I hiking the Art Loeb Trail. I'm testing out my Gossamer Gear tent in the rain, which I just made that video about how much I like that tent, but didn't do so great. You'll see in the video. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much on the PCT. So next week's video is going to be that hike, and then after that, if all goes to plan anyways, the next video will be PCT video number 1. So I know we're starting really late. I've been teasing this for so many months now, but it is happening. It's happening very soon. And like I said, by the time some of you watch this, I might already actually be out there, which is crazy. It's getting real. Very thankful for this opportunity. Very thankful for all of you. And I am not going to be taking this for granted. I love you. What a way to end.